taking some decisions in real time, and hence it is reducing the intervention of the human being while operating on such machines. Similarly, if we incorporate the algorithms provided by the AI and ML technique as part of EV, we can able to convert our conventional EV into smart EV or intelligent EV. So because of such intelligent systems, we can able to slowly make our progress towards the autonomous systems or autonomous vehicles. So in this way, AI and ML can be incorporated into an electric vehicle technology, so that thus the conventional or an ordinary electric vehicle can be converted into an intelligent EV or a smart EV or an autonomous vehicle. So this is the advantage of deploying AI and ML as part of the EV technology. So let us think about what are all the challenges faced by this EV technology. So if we look into the challenges perspective, um, each of us can list a few challenges. Say for example, if I want to buy a vehicle, if I want to buy a EV, as a vehicle owner or as a customer of that EV, I might be having some fear on my mind. So we can list those challenges as the perspective of the vehicle owner or as the perspective of EV customer. Also, as a EV manufacturer, the EV manufacturer may have some challenges in manufacturing EVs in our country. So, as in the perspective of EV manufacturer, the challenges might differ. Also, if we are in a domain of doing research on this EV, as a researcher, I may have some challenges. That is, I may have some limited access to some hardwares, or the hardwares what I want to use for my research may be not cost effective, uh, or there may not be much literature, or there may not be much support available in the research community in the EV domain. So in this way, each of us, in the perspective of either vehicle owner or the vehicle manufacturer or the researcher, we may have challenges. May I receive few challenges from the participants in any of these three perspectives? Participants, you can list the challenges whatever you are perceiving, either as a owner or as a manufacturer or as a researcher, in your chat box.
Ma'am, navigation issues, ma'am. Navigating. Whenever you are moving from one place to another place automatically.
Navigating issues. Anything else, sir? Even you can give your comments, challenges in the chat. As a researcher, what kind of challenge you may be having, that you can tell? What is the first challenge mentioned is actually range anxiety problem. That is, whenever I am moving or navigating from one place to another place, if it is of longer distance, I may not be sure that what is the range covered by EV, and if I have some depletion problem, whether the infrastructure related to charging will be available in my pathway. That is actually the range anxiety problem. So one challenge has been given. So, and another challenge is actually there is a problem in real-time data gathering. Yes, that is the major problem what researchers are actually facing, and there is actually a solution. We can what we can say, we can utilize the data augmentation techniques of ML, so that even if we have representative samples of data, we can able to augment the data and we can able to generate synthetic data set in order to help our research. But again, that might mimic the real data set, but it may not be a exactly real data set. That is actually a very big problem. Anything else?
There is one new question in the chat box, ma'am, asked by Ravi Kumar sir.
Yes, I have answered, sir. Actually, he is telling the problem with the data gathering.
Data visualization.
Yes, I told the data collection
Yes,
is a problem
thank you.
because of the poor number of poor adoption rate among the customers. So, and also the customers, we have to find exactly whoever have purchased, and getting the data from them is difficult. So even if we have sample data, we can use data augmentation technique in order to mimic the real data set. That is that's what I told. Okay, I can provide you a list of challenges. So could you look into this slide, and could you tell what kind of challenge the particular person is facing? So this is the navigation problem, that is the range anxiety problem. The driver or the user might have thought that the vehicle may cover till the destination point, but in the middle point itself, the charge gets depleted. So the person is in trouble. So this is one problem, and this is the second problem where we want to, even the charging infrastructures are available, there might be long queues, and we have to wait. We don't know how long it takes in order to complete the charging process. This is the second problem. And the third one is the problem associated with the EV batteries. And the fourth one is actually the data, as well as the connection between the EV to grid. So the set of challenges, the main challenges are actually range anxiety problem. As a vehicle owner or as a customer of a vehicle, I will be worrying about what is the range covered by my EV, and what is the charging infrastructure available as part of my country or as part of my city where I am traveling, and what is the technology used for the battery management, and how far the battery developed is effective. And as a vehicle manufacturer, I should worry about the supply chain issues, because I cannot able to manufacture each and every component of my EV. May instead I may want to purchase the components from some third party vendors. So in that case, how this supply chain management I'm going to deal with? How can I able to track the originality of the components, whether it is shipped from the vendor, whatever I am reaching is as exact? Then as a manufacturer, I also worried about how my charging station can be integrated with the grid, so that the power transmission between the grid as well as the infrastructure are happening in a seamless way. And then the upfront cost are very high, and the models existing, or the choices available to us are limited. So these are all actually the real challenges, and actually the list is very big, and we have taken only very quiet less number of challenges which are obvious in the perspective of owner or manufacturer or the researcher. I'll give you 1 minute time to think about these challenges, and if possible, could you please extend the list? of return, the challenges like road safety challenges. Ravi Kumar sir have posted a question that how could you identify the path holes and their dimensions during autonomous vehicles? Sir, actually we are moving towards it, but now our intention is to solve the challenges faced by the electric vehicle technology in order to convert the electric vehicle to a smart EV. We should work in a very long way in order to reach the autonomous vehicle. As of now, we will think about smart EV. Once the smart EVs are being manufactured, then we will proceed on moving to autonomous systems. So let us proceed with the existing challenges, and let us see the challenges one by one, and let us see how AI powered solutions can able to eliminate these challenges. Look into the first challenge, which is range anxiety problem. As we all know that what is range anxiety, that is even in our conventional cars or conventional two-wheelers, there exists an option provided to us which provides the estimations of how long distance the existing fuel can be used by your vehicle. So with that we can able to plan. Similarly, what we can do is actually we can incorporate AI algorithm. So it will consider the input factors like what is the real-time traffic, what is the weather condition, what is the terrain condition, that is what is the road condition. According to this input factors, it will plan and it will provide you the real-time prediction of what can be the remaining range. So with this, the EV drivers can able to get the estimations either as SMS, or if we are incorporating the NLP, we can even in the local language we can assist the drivers with some voice messages stating that with the current battery you can able to cover this range. Accordingly, the other challenges can be solved by means of this range estimation. So this is the first problem, that is range anxiety, and AI powered solution can help us in estimating the remaining range. So let us see the second problem, and we'll come back to the first problem in detail in the upcoming slides. So the second problem is actually the charging infrastructure. As we are traveling to a newer destination, the drivers might not be aware about what is the next charging station and how long it is from this particular my current location, and what might be the charging time, what is the size of the queue in that particular charging station. Can I go in my onward journey, or I have to it would be better if I will reach the station in my return journey so that I can reduce my waiting time. All these things can be solved by the AI powered solution. That is, if a driver is driving to a newer destination, the driver needs knowledge about the complete charging infrastructure. So such things can be provided by the AI empowered algorithms to the driver, like how our Google Map is providing what is the next petrol station. Similarly, it will provide us the available charging station. And the third one is about the battery management. So in we all know that AI algorithms are very helpful in the predictive maintenance of any of the hardwares. Similarly, in order to maintain the battery health, we can able to execute AI based predictive maintenance algorithm, so that which will provide the driver or the owner of the EV, and it will provide the exact health condition of the battery to the driver or the owner, so that the owner or the driver will be getting exactly what is the battery health status, how long the battery will run, and what kind of steps I should incorporate so that I can able to extend my battery life. So this is about how to solve the battery management problem. And the fourth one is the supply chain issues. So in order to manufacture this EV, we need critical components, and the manufacturers might be purchasing these critical components from some third-party vendors. So if we are purchasing some critical components from the third-party vendors, there are chances that during the transit the quality might get disrupted, or some malfunctioning of the components may happen. So in order to provide a real-time track of the real-time track and traceability of all the components being shipped from the third-party vendor till it reaches the EV manufacturer, we can able to incorporate the AI techniques. And the fifth challenge what we are going to discuss as part of this session is actually how EV can the EV's charging and discharging process can be done better, so that it will not affect the stabilization of the grid and it will not lead to any strain or disasters during the charging and discharging of the EVs, particularly in the peak demand period. So these 5 challenges we are going to discuss as part of today's session, along with the example AI powered algorithms. So let us stick on to the first problem initially, which is range anxiety problem. So as we all know what is range anxiety problem, that is the driver of the EV will be very much worried about what is the remaining range being covered by my vehicle. So because it is not easy to the driver to predict what is the remaining range, because it is depending on lot of input factors like what is the current state of your battery, and what is the habit of the driver who is driving the road, what is the terrain or road condition, what is the current traffic pattern, what is the weather. So based on all these input factors, we can develop sophisticated for example, I'll tell you in very simplest way some regression algorithms where the variables, that is the input variables for our regression model can be the current battery state, driving habits, road condition, weather condition, traffic condition, and so on. And the output variable which we are interested in will be of remaining range. So remaining range is depending on these input variables. So based on this, we can execute a regression algorithm which will be very helpful in continuously providing us the feedback about what is the remaining range in real time, so that the driver will get exactly will have a prediction on without worry, the driver can able to drive till that particular range. So in order to provide this estimate, real-time estimate on the remaining range, we can have a lot of steps. First thing what we have to do is actually we should collect the real-time data. That is actually a big challenge. So if we have such real-time data, we can have, say for example, the driver is very new and the EV is also too new. So what happens in that particular time, my algorithm cannot provide the specialization result to the driver, because the driver is very new and I don't know the history of the driver, I don't know the driving habits of the driver. In that case, what I have to do, say for example, if the EV is from Tata, then what I have to do is actually from the earlier vehicles sold by the Tata, we have to get the input data and accordingly we have to generalize and we should provide the driver the real-time estimate. As time progress, I can able to get the real-time driving pattern, driving habits from the current driver, and that is being stored in my DB, and hence I can able to provide a dynamic updations for this particular driver. Even though the data is not available for the new driver, I can able to still provide a generalized data, but as time progress, I can able to incorporate that driving habits. And say for example, if the EV is very new to some hill station, or if it is very new to a particular destination, and in that case I may not be knowing about the road condition, as well as I may not be knowing about how what might be the performance of EV on such particular road condition. In that case also, initially you can provide a generalized estimate, but as time proceeds, as time progress, my AI algorithm can able to update the range estimation continuously based on the real-time data, so that the drivers will get exactly that is the prediction will be as nearer to the exact value. So depending upon this remaining range, the driver can able to take care of other routes, or even my algorithm can able to suggest them there exists another route which is more energy efficient for EV when compared to the current route, whatever the driver is following, or my AI algorithm can provide another information to the driver that the remaining range of the EV is only, say for example, X. You can able to travel only X more kilometer with this particular current state of battery, and in that X kilometer there exists no charging stations available. So if you want, I can suggest you another route where within the X kilometers you are having a charging station, and as of now the charging station is free. You can able to complete the charging procedure within the next 20 minutes or next 30 minutes. With that kind of updations can be provided to the driver by AI algorithm, so that a driver can able to concentrate on driving in a hassle-free manner. So this is how we can able to help to alleviate range anxiety by analyzing the data, and even if the data is not available, we can initially provide the generalized estimation, and over the period of time we can able to update the ranges continuously in a real-time manner by getting the exact real-time data. And if there are chances needed, we can provide route optimization so that the driver can plan for alternative routes, which may help the driver to choose energy efficient route, or to choose a route which has a nearby charging station. Also we can able to provide this weather and traffic integration. So now even this Google Map is providing us, say for example, while we are traveling with by enabling map, and if we are traveling to our destination, and because of the real-time update, if there exists, say for example, an accident in the current route in which we are traveling, the map is providing us even 10 to 15 minutes ahead a notification in the map stating that the current route whatever you are following has a very big traffic problem because of this accident, and it takes this much time for clearance, and if you want, you can able to take this alternate route. So this kind of the real-time traffic integration can be done by AI powered solution, so that the driver can plan their routes accordingly. Similarly, we can able to incorporate the weather conditions also, the real-time weather conditions. And the next one, as I have already told you, even this is feasible if the driver is experienced person, and for the first time it cannot provide the user behavior analysis, but over the period of time it can able to learn the driving habits, and accordingly it will refine the estimate whatever it is providing, and it also suggests the routes which suits the driver's habit as well as the driving style. Accordingly it will suggest the route. That is also feasible. And if initially the AI algorithm is they have even Mercedes-Benz, they tried of sending alerts and initially they tried of sending notifications to the drivers whenever the range estimate is getting low, but later what they have come up is actually this notifications may be missed by the drivers because they might be concentrating on road. So then what they have done is actually they have deployed AI powered voice assistants, so that can alert by means of providing the voice message to the driver about what is the remaining range, what is the available next charging station, and what is the time taken, and any other alternative routes or route optimization plans, so that will be heard by the driver, and accordingly they can able to change their decisions if they are needed. And this AI powered voice assistants initially were developed only in English language, but now they are trying to develop this voice assistant in the local languages too. So because of that, the driver can choose the language while they are starting the vehicle, so that they will be getting the notification messages or the real-time estimates about their travel, their trip in their own local languages too, so that without losing their concentration on driving, they can able to get the real-time updates. Also, what we can do is, finally, we can even have this reinforcement. That is, we can collect that feedback from the driver about whatever the output provided by the AI. Accordingly, we can able to adjust our predictions, and with this adjustment, we can able to improve the performance of the AI powered solution. So, participants, any other issues related to range anxiety?
Participants, if you're having any doubts in range anxiety, you can ask now.
So if there exists no doubts, let us proceed with one example, that is AI powered solution for solving the range anxiety problem. Say for example, we have been given the input variables like what is the current state of charge of my EV battery installed in my vehicle. Say for, usually it will be represented in the percentage. So let me take it as 70%, and the current speed of my EV is actually 45 miles per hour, and the environmental temperature in Celsius degree is 25 degree, and the current elevation in which my vehicle is traveling with respect to the starting point is 100 meters, and the previous range achieved by the EV when the driver is taking the vehicle in the last hour is actually 30 miles. So with this particular input data, I can able to predict what is the remaining range or the remaining distance covered by the EV. So let us see how this can be solved by this AI based system with a simple example. I'll start sharing a Word document which contains the solution for this problem. 1 minute. I hope the document is visible, right?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yes.
can you please zoom a little bit?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. Okay.
I hope now it is fine, right, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So as we have discussed, we are having the input variables like this, and if we are trying to solve this problem by using a ML model, as we have already discussed, we can try with the very simple linear regression technique. So here the output variable remaining range is depending on the input variables listed here. So for constructing a regression model, as we all know, we should first think is about the real-time data collection. So we need a historical data for all the input variables listed. So as part of our example, we have the input variables like batteries, current state of charge, what is the speed of the vehicle, what is the temperature, elevation change, and the actual range achieved by the driver in the previous drive. So these historical data become a data set. Again, I repeat, this is not a feasible step sometimes, or it is not that much easy, for completing the step, because we may not be having that many instances of the data. In that case, you please collect some ample amount of data, and then use data augmentation technique, so that again, data augmentation technique is again a ML based algorithm, which will help you to generate few more synthetic instances, so that you will be getting a quite good number of samples in your data set. And once your data set is ready, then we can go for data pre-processing. So in this data pre-processing, we are going to again scan the entire data set to check whether there exist any errors or any missing values, or some problems or in the data. If we are having such problem, then we are going to eliminate those rows, or we are going to convert that value to a normal value. And if you want to do some any unit conversion, say for example, if you feel that the temperature will be better if I have it in a Kelvin, because I have the current input is Kelvin, such kind of constraints if you have, then those unit conversions, those normalizations, you can able to do as part of the data pre-processing step. And after data pre-processing, now my data is ready. So what I can do is actually I can able to provide or feed this data to my regression algorithm, so that my regression algorithm can able to understand the dependency between the output variable towards the input variable. So now what we are going to do is actually we are going to do feature engineering after data pre-processing. In feature engineering, what we can do is actually, if you feel my input variables are replicated, I have a temperature in Celsius, also I have a temperature in Kelvin. In that case, I can able to eliminate one of the feature. So that is actually feature engineering. Also, if you feel that there are three features where the third feature can be derived from feature 1 and feature 2. In that case also, what you can do is either you can keep feature 3, because it can be it is available from feature 1 and feature 2, because it is a composition of feature 1 and feature 2. Then you can keep feature 3 and you can delete feature 1 and feature 2. Or if you feel feature 1 and 2 are important, then you can delete feature 3. In this way, you are going to keep only the relevant features as part of the input variables, and other irrelevant features you are going to eliminate. So here also, if you feel the number of features available with you are very large, then what we can do is actually we can reduce the dimensionality by applying any of the dimensionality reduction technique, so that at any point of time you will be having only handful of features. Then once you have checked your data for the relevant features, then you have to divide your data into training, testing, even for validation you can do. So what is this actually is actually, say for example, your data set is having 100 rows. Now what we are going to do is we are going to choose 80% of the rows for feeding as input to the model, so that the model can able to learn exactly what is the relationship between the input variable and output variable. Once the model has learned, then with the remaining 20%, even though you are having the output variable value, what you are going to do is you are going to feed the input to the model, and you are going to let the model to provide the output. Then you are going to see the differences between the you're going to see the differences between the value provided by your model and the exact value what your data set has. If there exists close alignment with the value provided by your model and the value available in the data set, then your model is good. If not, you have to fine tune your model by means of adding more number of data, or by means of adding more number of features, or by means of discarding some irrelevant features. Those kind of fine tuning you should do, so that finally the output provided by the model will have a alignment with the exact output. So this is about the remaining thing. And in order to check the performance of the model, there are a lot of metrics depending on the algorithm. So we can use any of the metrics, and then we can able to check whether the metrics are acceptable. If it is acceptable, we can freeze the model, else we have to fine tune the model. And once we freeze the model, then we can able to deploy it in any of the EV based systems, so that we can achieve AI driven or AI empowered range prediction system. So let me look into one sample data set. So I have this 5 instance. So I have the 5 instance. So for all these 5 instance, I am having the data for the input variables, SOC, speed, temperature, elevation, previous range. Also I have my output data for this particular 5 instances. So what is my requirement is actually, if any of the 6th instance is coming with this 5 values, my intention is to estimate this my output here. So let me look into the Python based solution here. So my sample data is available in this particular CSV file. So I am reading the CSV file and I am doing some data pre-processing. That is, my data has temperature in Celsius. I am going to convert that into Kelvin, and then I am doing some feature engineering. That is, I have some data features like speed and temperature. So I am going to use this speed and temperature in order to calculate a new feature called as energy consumption, and I am going to add this feature to my data set. Even though my data set doesn't have the energy consumption feature, now I am adding a new feature which is calculated with using the existing features, speed as well as temperature, elevation and SOC. So once my features are ready, now I am going to define what is my input and what is my output. My input is actually SOC, speed, temperature, elevation change and previous range, and my output is actually range achieved. So then in this input and output, X, capital X and small y, now I am going to split it for training and testing. As I am giving testing size is 0.2, training is actually percentage. Then I am a simple linear regression model, so that the model is trying to learn the dependency between the input variables which has 5 instance of X and the corresponding 5 instance of Y, and and the learnings are available with the variable model, and by using the variable model, the remaining 20% I am going to predict. So with this remaining 20% of the data in X test, I am predicting in Y prediction, and already for this particular X test 20%, I have my output in Y test. So now I am going to compare Y test with Y prediction by using a metric called as mean absolute error. So if MAE is closer to 0, if MAE is closer to 0 or very lesser, then I can able to tell my regression model, whatever I have learnt from this training data, is providing a accurate prediction. If it is closer to, say for example 0.8, 0.9, then which means there exists a major difference between the actual value and the predicted value. Hence I should fine tune my model. So here, when my new data is coming, when we are let us assume the SOC is 85, speed is 55 miles per hour, temperature in Kelvin is 298 and elevation is 30 meters and previous range covered is 70 miles, then I can able to find what is my predicted range by sending this new trip data to my model, because the model has the dependencies between my input and output. So in this way, the range anxiety problem, here we have taken very little number of features. We have not incorporated the real time weather condition, the traffic condition. We have just, as part of weather, we have incorporated only temperature. As part of the driver behavior, we have incorporated only the previous range. As part of the road condition, we have incorporated only the elevation change. They are very, very simple attributes. In similar way, you can have your data set as very complex, so that you can able to provide a very good estimation on the remaining range to the user. So I hope you had an idea of how AI model can able to solve the range anxiety issues faced by the EV drivers, right? Yes. Um, Let us see the second challenge. The second challenge is about the charging station or the charging infrastructure. So as part of the charging infrastructure, we have quite a number of challenges. The first one is we should have a good number of charging stations in and around the city, so that we can able to convince the customer for adopting the EV. But if we want to deploy a charging station in and around the city, the first problem coming into our mind is actually which site I can able to select. Say for example, if you are selecting your charging station in a very busy place, then the traffic thing, everything will comes into picture, and the cost of that land, the cost of the site, whatever you are going to choose will be very higher, because you have chosen in the city center and in the very busiest place. So we should incorporate lot of things into account in order to select a site for placing your charging station infrastructure. That is the first problem, that is which site you will select in order to make the site as very feasible for the customer, as well as we can have we can able to reduce the traffic patterns, and we should have a very good demographic in and around the site. So those things should be incorporated in the site selection. And the second major important problem in the charging station infrastructure is how you fix the pricing. So we cannot have a static pricing like 1 liter petrol is actually of 101 rupees. We cannot have a such kind of static pricing in the case of EV charging, because during the peak time a lot of customers will reach, and which will increase the queue length. And if you keep on charging them at that time, you should concentrate on grid stability also. So what we can do is to alleviate this problem, we can encourage off peak, that is off peak charging. So how can we encourage the customers to come for off peak time, because most of them will come only on peak time. In that case, we can have a dynamic price strategies. That is peak time, whoever is charging, we can charge little higher, and off peak time we can charge little lesser. So because of this kind of pricing strategies, we can increase the utilization of the equipments available in the charging station. Thus we can make it as busy as possible, we can make it as less ideal as possible, and we can have a optimized queue length. We can reduce the customers waiting time. So those things are feasible by means of AI powered solution. That is, we cannot go for, say for example, I will reduce 10 rupees, a flat 10 rupees for off peak. That we cannot go. We should think about the number of customers coming on peak time, the number of customers who are coming on off peak time, and how many the charging stations are available with us. What is the number of EV customers coming, what is the number of schools, hospitals, offices in and around the infrastructure, and how many customers may be in need of peak time charging, how many are in need of off peak charging. All those things we should incorporate in order to provide the dynamic price plan. Also, as we have already discussed, it is actually a hardware components. It needs predictive maintenance. So the maintenance schedules can be prepared by the AI powered solution. And the third one is integration. So we will be having both charging and discharging. So in order to manage the bidirectional electric flow between the grid and the station vehicle, we should balance both the supply and demand. so that we can reduce some disasters or strains, and we can able to maintain the stability of the grid. It would be a major problem in the case of peak time. So for that also we should provide AI based solution. So we can able to anticipate the demand also in the peak time as well as in the off peak time, so that accordingly the grid, the power grid authorities can able to manage or balance the load of the grid during the peak time as well as the off peak time. And the next one is in the charging infrastructure. We can have AI powered apps, so that the drivers can able to find the next available charging station, the estimated charging time. They can get the personalized recommendation based on the their own behavior. So if not, what happens is the charging station may be available. So if you are not giving real-time update, you are giving only a static information that in the next 2 kilometers you are having a charging station. Let us assume in that charging station you are having already a queue of 10 plus 10, say for example 20 customers are waiting, and you are providing a notification to the driver that there exists a charging station within the next 3 kilometers. So once the driver reaches the station, say for example only one customer have left, 19 customers are waiting, the driver may get some frustration. So to avoid this kind of things, what we can do is we can have the estimations about the charging time taken for those waiting customers, the 19 customers, and accordingly you can prepare the exact prediction of at what time you will get a slot and how much time it takes for charging, and if you charge in this particular slot in this particular time, what might be your bill. So all these things you can able to provide as a personalized recommendation through the mobile app, so that the driver can decide whether to charge now or to try with the other alternative charging stations or the next charging station, not the nearest one. So with this we can able to improve the user experience. And the next one is even during the charging also we can able to schedule by means of the AI powered solution. Instead of going for a conventional first come first serve, what we can do is we can go for the AI powered scheduling. That is we can have some flexi plans and let the user chooses the plan. Accordingly we can able to do the charging. And the next one, the payment and authentication also we can able to provide with the AI powered thing in the case of charging stations. So let us see the problem with this particular charging station infrastructure. So let us provide a solution for this second problem of selecting the suitable sites for installing the charging station in a particular city. So here I hope the screen is visible, right?
Yes, visible, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Visible,
Yes.
ma'am. Problem statement number 2.
2.
Yes.
So here we should consider few of the input parameters. So let me take what are all the parameters I have taken into consideration. So here they have given a choice of 5 different sites. So the locations are A, B, C, D, E. So now our AI powered algorithm have to choose or select or rank this particular locations, so that we can able to choose one among this particular 5 for the installation of charging station. So 5 different locations. In those 5 locations, we are having the data pertaining to what is the population density of the location, what is the distance between the location to the highway in miles, distance to that location, the city center in miles, distance to that location, the shopping center in miles, and what is the adoption rate of the public whoever is residing in the location. What is the EV adoption rate percentage? So again, what we can do, the same steps we can follow. So I'll be going through it very fastly. First thing, we have to collect the data. Again, if you feel the data collection is not feasible, you collect the sample data. But here, as it is of 5 location, there is no other way. You should go to the location and you should do the real-time data collection, no other way. And the second one is data pre-processing. So as the different features are of different scale, say for example, population density is in thousands, and if you look into the EV adoption rate, they are in tens, and some are in point, the distance are in some very minimal number. So here what we can do is we can normalize the data so that all the data will be of at same scale. Then also here few features of highest importance, whereas few features of lowest importance. Say for example, if you have the EV adoption rate, if you feel that EV adoption rate plays a vital role in deciding the location of your charging station, then you should give a higher weightage to the EV adoption rate. And if you feel the distance between the location to the shopping center is not that much deal, or distance between that location to the city center is not having that much role in deciding the site, then you can provide a least weight. So the second step involves here is actually future weightage. That is, for each feature we have to provide the weights, and you have to the third step, you have to calculate the weighted rate so that for each location we'll be getting a single score. And the easiest approach of aggregating the features with the weight is actually we can go for weighted sum. And the fourth step is based on the weighted sum or based on the scores obtained in the step 3, we can able to rank them in the descending order. So higher the score, which indicates that location is more suitable for a charging station deployment. So let us see the Python code. We are having our data in the CSV file, and we are assigning the feature weights. The usual way of assigning the feature weight is the sum of all the weight should be of 1. If we are in need, we can add more features and we can distribute the weights accordingly. So if you look into this particular weight split up, EV adoption rate scores shares the highest weightage of 0.3, and the population density and distance to shopping center is 0.2 each, and distance to highway and distance to city center is 0.15 each. So total summing up of 1. So we are doing the normalization by using the min-max scaling, because each of the feature is of different thing. Once the data available in the file is normalized, then the scaled data, we are going to do a dot product with the weight values. So the scaled data is the normalized data, and the feature weight value is actually the values what we have assigned for the different features. So we are going to do the dot product, and we are going to get the result in the aggregated score. And this aggregated score is being added as part of our original data set. And now we are going to sort our original data set with the column aggregated score. We are going to perform descending order sorting, hence we are making the ascending as false. So now we will be getting the ranked location. So then what we can do is we can print the location heading, that is ABCDE, with the aggregated score. So by looking into the score field, we can able to come to an easy conclusion. The location whoever is having the higher aggregated score, they are more suitable. So what we can do is actually we can able to incorporate other factors by making the data set as more complex by means of looking into how many traffic signals in and around the location has, what is the land price, what is the land availability, what is the local labor market there, what is the local regulation, to whom we have to, whether it is coming under the control of municipal or the town panchayat, or it is coming under the control of some metropolitan. So all those things we can able to incorporate into our the tax rate, the property tax rate. So those things we can able to incorporate, and we can make it as a very complex data set. so that which will be very helpful in helping the infrastructure owners to select a suitable site, because the site selection plays a major role in increasing the EV adoption rate. So this is one problem related to the charging station infrastructure. And the another one is actually related to this thing, that is we can incorporate this traffic pattern. So here we can also tell about what is the availability of the parking. Same way we can able to do, and we can able to predict. So let me proceed with the third challenge. So the third challenge is actually about the battery management. So it is actually very crucial component of the EV, and here what we have to do is actually this SOC, that is what is the current charge level of the battery, and what is the SOH, current health of the battery. So this charge or capacity of the battery and the health of the battery is actually very important, so that the drivers can able to understand the status of the EV. That is this plays a major role in determining the remaining range covered by the EV, as well as the health of the EV, whether EV needs maintenance or not. Those kind of schedules can be prepared only by understanding what is the SOC and SOH of the installed battery in the EV. So even in our first challenge of range anxiety, we have discovered that there is a first feature which is SOC, which is very which played a major role in determining the remaining range. And then we can have the predictive maintenance, that is the maintenance schedule. We can detect any abnormalities. We can detect the performance of the battery. We can have a plot. All those things we can able to do with the help of AI powered algorithms. And we can even provide a plan kind of things which will help the drivers or the owners to manage the battery's thermal state effectively, by means of telling when to initiate a cooling process, when to switch off the cooling process, what is the optimal temperature we should have. So by following all these strategies, they can able to extend the battery's lifetime. So by means of having a better battery condition, we can able to increase the efficiency of the charging process, and hence we can able to achieve the rapid charging, and we can even provide the optimal time taken for charging the battery based on the things. So this is about the battery management. Again, if we know the required input by means of this ML algorithms, we can able to predict what is the output. So here the point of our interest is the SOC. We can even think about SOH also. So what is the current capacity of the battery or current charge of the EV battery, which depends on current, voltage, temperature and elapsed time. For this problem, you can able to apply the same technique as what we have followed for the problem number 1. Only the input and outputs are different, where the output is actually remaining range. Here the output is SOC, and there the inputs are SOC, elevation, driving behavior, previous range covered, so and so. But here the input are current, temperature, voltage and elapsed time. So by means of changing, we can have the same regression model for predicting the SOC. Hope you have understood right the third issue. Shall I proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Please.
ma'am.
Yes, okay. Let me look into the fourth problem, that is fourth challenge, which is actually the challenge faced by the vehicle manufacturer, which is the supply chain issues. So sometimes we don't know about what might be the sales demand. So we need to forecast the demand well in advance, so that we may not be ending up with shortages of the EVs or the shortages of the components which are crucial for the EV manufacturing. So in that case, what we can do is we can analyze the historical sales. Say for example, during festival seasons, I may have a bigger trend, or because of say for example, some announcement in the budget related to the purchase of the EV, that say for example, maximum of 1 lakh rupees, there exists no tax if the taxpayer is purchasing EV. So such announcements are the external factors which even will fluctuate the demands. So we need a real-time analytics in order to forecast exactly what might be the demand in the upcoming days. So for calculating this particular demand, for have a better prediction on the accurate demands, we can deploy the AI powered algorithms, so that the manufacturing plants can able to understand the demand, and they can able to increase or decrease the production according to the demand. So which will be very helpful in order to avoid the overproduction, because if we are producing over, we need go downs, we need to pay for some shipment partners, we need to pay for our rental partners. So that cost we can able to avoid. Also we can able to cut down the shortages. If we are having shortages, then the customers will be waiting for the product, so that also we can able to eliminate. This is about how we can use AI powered solution for forecasting the demand well in advance, so that the manufacturers can plan their production accordingly. Then the next one is very, very important, which is traceability or visibility in the supply chain. We all know that there exists, if you want to convert your vehicle to EV or EV to smart EV, definitely you need to integrate with lot of sensors, actuators, controllers, so that we can have a better control, or we can have a better intelligence built in our vehicle. So if you are having such things, then what you have to do is, the components are very crucial, whichever is you are installing. So in order to have a traceability on the components, what you can do is, during the transport, during the shipment, you integrate additional IoT devices and sensors, so that you can able to trace exactly where the component is and how it is being shipped, what is the state of packages, whether there exists any what we can say openings happening to our package, whether there exists any delay in a particular location. So all those things we can able to identify, and if possible we can even eliminate the involvement of such fraudulent users, whoever is doing some kind of unwanted activity during the shipment of the such a crucial component. So this is very, very important. Here what we can do is, in addition to this devices and sensors, we can even track this logistic happenings, and we can store this in the blockchain, so that even we can pinpoint the vendor, or you can pinpoint the logistic partner, that during the control of the product in your hand, this happened. So you are responsible for the delay, or you are responsible for the damage of this particular product, or you are responsible for the fraudulent activity happened on the product. Such kind of claims can be possible by means of adding this IoT as well as the blockchain in the supply chain process. And the next one is, actually we can go for inventory management. Here also what we can do is, we can able to incorporate both the things into account, that is both the supply as well as the demand fluctuation, and accordingly we can optimize the inventory levels. That is, we can able to optimize the human power, we can able to optimize the transportation cost, we can able to optimize the rental cost. For all those things we can able to utilize the input provided by the AI algorithms. And the second one is we can even have a very good trace on analyzing the behavior of the supplier. So based on their past performance, we can able to make some decisions about whether to keep this supplier for supplying this crucial component, or we can able to leave. So depending on their prior performance, say for example, they have given a tender on a particular date, they have given invoice on this date, they have started shipping on a particular date, but the order has been received by your plant only on this many date. They have quoted that there is a delay in the logistics. So those kind of historical data you can maintain, and with those historical data you can able to think about whether to keep the supplier in track, or we can able to leave and we can go for other supplier. Say for example, you want to choose one among many, or you want to choose few among many, then this supplier performance analytics plays a vital role. Instead of doing manually everything, we can able to use AI powered algorithms, and we can use this AI powered computer vision systems to detect the faulty components in whichever is being manufactured in our plant, so that instead of moving the defective product, defective component till the end of the supply chain, wherever it is being manufactured, there itself I can able to check, and they can able to control the movement of the defective product from one end to the next end, and hence it will not have a major impact on the product quality. Then you can also go for optimizing the energy consumption of the supply chain. So here what is the problem we can avoid is actually, say for example, you are a supply chain manager of a manufacturing company, because this will be a big problem only to the manufacturer. So now what you have to do is, you want to identify what is the trend, what is the anomaly that is which is causing a major impact in the delay. So for that, what you are going to do is, we are going to identify the trends and anomalies in the delivery times of the key crucial components of the EV. So that, say for example, if you feel battery and semiconductors are very crucial components, now what you are going to do is, you are going to see what is the trend for trend involved in purchasing of batteries. You are going to identify what is the trend involved in the semiconductors. Say for example, one supplier you floated quotation on this particular date, you are receiving tender on this date, you are opening the tender on a particular date, then you are choosing a particular supplier and you are placing an order, you are receiving an invoice, but the item is being shipped on a particular date. So in this multiple stages, you can able to understand whether the delay was from your side or from the supplier side. So with this, or you can able to identify which stage is leading to a delay. So because of this detection of unusual delays, we can optimize the steps, or we can optimize the actions involved in that particular steps. We can cut down some steps, or even we can make some changes in the policies, so that we can able to reduce the delay in the delivery time if possible. So that is actually a major thing. By means of simple data visualization, we can able to identify the trends or the anomalies in the delivery time. This is how we can able to eliminate this particular challenge as a manager in the EV manufacturing company. So let us proceed to the fifth challenge, which is grid integration. So it is actually very important challenge, because as we are integrating grid with our charging station, we should be very cautious that we are not disrupting or we are not disturbing the stabilization of the grid, especially during the peak time. So now what we have to do is, we should ensure the frequency and the voltage of the grid. Accordingly, we should have a flexible charging and discharging schedules. So in order to prepare that flexible charging and discharging schedules, we can use of AI powered algorithms. Okay, and We can even go for the predictive maintenance, as we have informed, as we have already discussed this for charging station as well as for battery. The entire grid also we can think about preparing the predictive maintenance schedule based on the grid instead of following a static maintenance schedule. Say for example, nowadays we are receiving some second Saturday or third Saturday, due to maintenance you will not be receiving any power. Instead of such static thing, we can go for AI empowered algorithms, so that which will predict, based on the real time happenings. It can prepare the schedule, and whenever maintenance is needed, it will not wait for till the date, or it will not initiate the maintenance on that particular date for every the periodicity. So those things we can able to do with the help of AI based solutions. Let me see one particular problem here. So these things we have already discussed. Say for example, you should you as an electric utility company, you are facing the grid congestion issues, because during the peak time you will be getting a higher demand for EV charging. So as it is giving you enough profit, as the company owner, what usually we will do is we will fix a higher charge for the peak hour charging, and we will allow the customers. But if you allow the peak hour customers in a very higher amount of higher in numbers, it will definitely lead to some congestion issues. So now what we can do is, to avoid this congestion and to prevent the instability in the grid, we can go for the optimistic schedules. So we can stick on to this dynamic schedules, and accordingly we can initiate the charging. That is, between charging or between charging and discharging, we can leave some breaks. So those kind of breaks, when to leave, will be decided by the schedule, and this AI empowered algorithms will be helpful for preparing such schedules. Instead of sticking on to the static schedules, we can get the help of AI algorithms to prepare the schedules, and if we stick on to it, we can able to reduce the congestion related issues in the grid. So this is how we can able to eliminate the congestion issues. So this is our fifth challenge, and I have given you one example problem too. So today I'll give you again an overview. So we have taken 5 challenges into account. Range anxiety as the first problem, and the second problem is charging infrastructure, where we have discussed about site selection problem, and the third is battery management, where we have discussed about estimating or predicting the battery's state of charge or state of capacity. And as a fourth challenge, we have taken the supply chain issues, where we have predicted the trends and anomalies involved in the transit of the crucial components. And the fourth one is grid integration, where we have prepared and optimized the schedule. And if you look into sixth and seventh challenge, they are high upfront cost and limited models, where we cannot think about deploying AI to elevate this particular challenge, because high upfront cost, the electrical engineer should come up with some solutions where they can able to cut rid of some cost associated with the crucial components. And for limited models also, the electrical engineer should play a role. As a computer scientist or as a data scientist or a AI ML empowered engineer, what we can do is we can provide AI powered solution for the first 5 challenges. Hope I have provided you a good overview of how to incorporate this AI or ML powered solutions in the EV technology, so that we can able to solve many of the issues listed here. So if you have any questions, you can ask me.
Dear participants, if you are having any doubts, you can post it now. Either you can unmute yourself and ask, or you please post it in the chat box. Any queries? Okay, shall we wind up the session, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. If they have no queries, we can wind
Yes,
up.
okay. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, participants. Thank you all for joining the session. And in this occasion, I would like to thank Dr. Saroja for her valuable insights about EV, and she has given so many examples and case studies uh, with the solutions for the same. And really, it was useful. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for your valuable time. And I would also like to thank all the participants for their patience and your listening. Hope this would have enlightened some knowledge new about the electrical vehicles. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the participants for their patience listening. Thank you, organizers, for providing me an opportunity. Thank you all.
Dear participants, feedback link will be shared in the chat box as well as in the WhatsApp group. You can fill it.